Hey guys, it's your girl Ashy.
Oh god. Mom, come quick! What's wrong? An old woman collapsed in front of our house. Call an ambulance. Is she gonna just disappear? Paramedics arrived in a matter of minutes. The old woman seemed to be unconscious by that point, however, so the EMTs brought out a stretcher. Do either of you know this woman? No, she just collapsed in front of our house. We've never seen her before. Alright. Would you be willing to ride with her in the ambulance? The idea of making this old woman go to the hospital by herself just seemed like it would have been a shameful thing to do. Sure, she was a stranger, but we'd had a lengthy conversation mere minutes before, so I couldn't very well say we had nothing to do with one another. Yui, you need to get to school. What? But don't worry, I'll go with her to the hospital. You have to practice for the interview today, right? Yeah, I guess I do. Thanks, Mom. I'll leave her with you then. Good luck. I was a little hesitant, but knew I really had to go to school today, no matter what. So I left the strange woman in my mum's care, and heading towards the school, walked right by her stretcher. She just grabbed us. Suddenly, a hand rose from the limp form of the old woman and grabbed my skirt. Startled, I tried to jump away, but found myself ensnared by her terrible bloodshot eyes. Oh god. Why can this woman predict the future? I'm so confused. After school, once my final practice interview concluded, I reunited with my friends and engaged in the usual regimen of gossip and small talk. Can you believe that? That's really scary. What was wrong with her? When I described the events of that morning, everyone's eyebrows rose. They were hanging on to my every word and yelping in unison at key moments. Yui. Maybe you should have stayed home today after all. Well, but I had that practice interview. I couldn't miss that, you know? I just hope nothing bad happens. Oh, come on! What could happen? Oh. You know what? Hmm? When you mentioned Heavenly Host Elementary, I thought it sounded kind of familiar. And I just realized why. You know the Seven Wonders, right? Seven Wonders? You mean those urban legends about Kisaragi? Yeah, those. Does Heavenly Host Elementary have some kind of connection to them? One of the stories is called Yoshi After School. Ever heard of it? Definitely not. I've never heard of it either. What's it about? Well, it takes place at Heavenly Host Elementary, which once occupied the same plot of land where Kisaragi Academy now stands. Ooh, okay. It's said that one day after school, a female teacher who had been patrolling the grounds slipped and fell down the stairs, and died. The accident took place on a rainy October day, just like this one, and occurred just after 7 at night. Supposedly, Yoshi still appears on days like this. Ever unaware that she died at Heavenly Host these many years ago, she now walks the halls of Kisaragi Academy, believing them to be her own. Oh, come on, no. Is it true? Well, it wouldn't be one of the Seven Wonders if someone hadn't actually seen it happen, right? It's really creepy. Why don't you head home, Yui? You're the only one who doesn't live nearby, so we can't walk with you. And given all that stuff the old woman said to you... Yeah, it's always best to heed the warnings of the elderly. You might be right. I am still feeling kind of on edge. Probably best I go home and check in with Mom. I'll see you guys later then. Bye! See ya! Take care! Give it everything you've got tomorrow. I will. I quickly packed up my things and rushed out of the classroom. It was already about 5. It was getting dark out, but if Kana's story was to be believed, I had until 7 before anything bad might happen. I continued wending my way down the corridor. I just kept telling myself, there's nothing to be afraid of. Even so, it felt like it took an extra long time to reach the shoe lockers. Man, I'm such a scaredy cat. Oh, hey Shishido. Tsukasa! Heading home? Yeah. What's with the big grin? It's nothing. Hey, why don't we walk together? At least part of the way. Sure, I don't mind. Great. When I looked at Tsukasa's face, my fear vanished. If but for a moment. These are times when it's really nice to have boys around, I thought. I felt that as long as he was by my side, nothing bad could happen. Didn't hurt that I had a crush on him, of course. The rain had let up since that morning, though it was still coming down. The two of us walked side by side, umbrellas held high. Tsukasa was talking and laughing excitedly the whole time, whereas I probably came off as preoccupied. I'm sure it was awkward. A vague sense of fear flickered inside of me, and it was making me extraordinarily self-conscious. I'm certain it must have been reflected in my behavior. Shishido? You look kind of pale. Something happened? Hey. Yeah, something scary happened. Something scary? I probably seemed really on edge. Tsukasa was staring at me with this look of abject concern on his face. I was a little relieved that he'd asked, though, and it felt good to tell him about what happened. I filled him in on all the details and explained how they related to Kana's ghost story. I did my absolute best to convey the dread I was feeling. But Tsukasa's was, well... 7 wonders of Kisaragi High, huh? Yeah. Do you actually believe in that stuff? Sometimes I wish I could see the world through your eyes. What? You don't think it's scary? It's weird, sure, but I wouldn't call it scary. I wouldn't worry about what that old woman said to you. I'm sure it's just coincidence. But wouldn't it be better to not dwell on it either way? I mean, yeah, your encounter with her sounds like it was kind of unsettling, but she was probably just a little off, you know? It's not the issue here. Huh? I wasn't asking you to solve my problems for me, oh no. Look, I just wanted to vent, okay? I just wanted you to listen. What do you mean? That's what I've been doing. No, not like that. I don't get it. Are you angry about something? Guys always do this. It varies from person to person, of course. But guys invariably jump right into looking for solutions to your problem, or giving you advice on what to do. As a result, girls often can't be totally honest with them, or don't want to be, at any rate, and are just forced to bottle up their feelings. I only wanted Tsukasa to share in some of my fears. If he was scared with me, that would have been enough. I didn't realize that Tsukasa was telling me not to worry. Telling me not to worry was his way of showing concern. I just thought he was brushing me off, and frankly, that annoyed me. My mind flashed back over and over again to the face, the eyes, and the hoarse voice of that old woman. Amplified and distorted by the ghost story, these images gradually darkened my mood. Maybe I was traumatized by the events I had experienced, or maybe I was just frustrated and needed to lash out. I don't know. But for the first time ever, things had become decidedly uncomfortable between the two of us. Okay, well this is me. Right. Shishido. He called out my name as I briskly walked away. I didn't really know why I was so angry or confused, but I did notice that his voice was tinged with concern. If anything should happen, feel free to contact me. I considered turning back for a second, but changed my mind and pushed forward in a huff, leaving him behind. Tadaima. I'm home. Yui, welcome back. Greeting me at the door, my mother wore a somber expression. I could tell right away that something had happened. I stared at her with scrunched eyebrows for an awkwardly long time before she eventually and reluctantly opened her mouth to speak. About that old woman from this morning. Yeah? The hospital contacted me. She passed away a short while ago. No. I'm so sorry. You need to stay focused on tomorrow's exam right now, though. Yeah. We should put this unpleasantness behind us. I'm getting dinner started now. How about you go get changed? Okay. I'll be in my room. I'll call you. I watched my mom work her way back to the kitchen, then wriggled out of my shoes. My mood had darkened even more. Tsukasa's attitude was bad enough for that old woman to have died. Turning to my room, I couldn't muster the energy to do anything but collapse into my chair and sprawl out onto the desk. The last thing the old woman had said to me echoed again and again in my mind. I began wishing I'd taken her more seriously. I should have accepted the paper doll and thanked her. I should have reassured her I wouldn't go to Heavenly Host Elementary. I mean, the place didn't even exist anymore, for goodness sakes. I was exhausted. It was a hell of a day, and I no longer even had the energy to move. I needed to change out of my school clothes, but still sprawled out all over the desk. My eyelids drooped and closed. I was out. I awoke with a start. The air in my room had gotten notably cooler, and I was shivering. I must have fallen asleep. Rubbing my eyes, I glanced at my clock. The needles indicated it was 6:45. It's already this late? It was black outside my window, streaked with lines from the still pouring rain. Sure hope it's sunny tomorrow. Sunny. For my exam. The weight of what the next day held for me came rushing into my mind. I'd practiced the interview process with my teachers quite thoroughly, but I was still really nervous. Okay. I need to make sure I'm ready for tomorrow. There was still a little time before dinner. My mind swimming, I decided to take this opportunity to clean out all the notes and textbooks I wouldn't need tomorrow from my bag. Let's see. Student ID needs to stay, obviously. Handkerchief and tissues. Gotta make sure I don't forget my exam ticket. Oh, and my pen case. Oh crap, where's my pen case? Did I leave it at school? My face suddenly went pale. Really? I shouldn't have been too concerned over writing implements. We had tons at home. But that case held the pencil that Tsukasa had given me, but guaranteed success on my exam. Is she gonna go back to the damn school to get it? At 6:45 in the evening? I hope not. To go get it. Oh my god. Why? Mom, I forgot something at school. I'm gonna run back for a sec. What? The dinner's almost ready. It's okay, I'll come right home. Oh god. Alright. It's still raining though, so be careful. I will. Oh god. That pencil was one thing I absolutely needed to bring with me to the test. And so, without hesitation, I ran back down the road to school. I sprinted as close to full speed as I could get without slipping in the downpour. All the while, the numbers on my bedroom clock ran through my mind. 6:45. And if Kana's story was to be believed, Yoshi haunted the school building at 7. Oh dear. As soon as I arrived at the gate, I glanced up at the large clock adorning the schoolhouse. It was now 6:55. Yoshi after school. I went over the whole scenario in my head again, as best as I could recall it. After classes, on a rainy day in October, 7 at night. That old woman somehow know this would happen? Oh, hold yourself, Yui. Just some old campfire tale. I was talking to myself, reprimanding myself in an effort to quell the fear that was welling up in the pit of my stomach. There wasn't a soul to be seen on the grounds. By this time, the students had all gone home, and I wondered if any teachers were even still around. Fortunately, the lights were still on, and it was bright enough that I felt confident I could make it to the classroom without freaking out. Okay, I'll just run up, grab the case, and come right back down. I folded up my soaked umbrella and left it on the rack by the entrance, then changed into my indoor shoes. Then, entering the brightly lit hall, I took another look around. Guess I was right. Nobody's home. My deep sigh echoed through the deathly silent corridor. Ordinarily, the din of the other students would drown out noises like this, but every little sound was coming through crystal clear at this late hour. I need to hurry. It's almost 7. I nervously sauntered towards classroom 3-4, picking up speed as it occurred to me to do so. About that old woman from this morning. She passed away a short while ago. Said that one day after school, a female teacher had been patrolling the grounds, slipped and fell down the stairs. Died. The accident took place on a rainy day. Rainy October day just like this one, and occurred just after 7 at night. And supposedly, Yoshi still appears on days like this. Ever unaware that she died at Heavenly Host these many years ago, she now walks the halls of Kisaragi Academy, believing them to be her own. Jeez, what the hell is wrong with me? Why am I letting me bother this so much? Tsukasa was right. I shouldn't dwell on this. Lightning flashed and thunder resounded with impeccable timing. I jumped in spite of myself. Need to hurry up these stairs. Grab the pen case and get the hell out of this creepy building. No ghosts should show up in a well-lit building like this, right? And even if they did, it wouldn't be very scary under all these bright lights. I absolutely need that pencil for tomorrow's test. My good luck charm after all, and it's from Tsukasa. I picked up the pace and continued to head straight for room 3-4. Middle school is already pitch black. I guess there really is no one else around right now. And this hallway feels longer today than it ever has before. Was it always like this? I can't imagine I'd ever be on time if it were. I continued my brisk walk down the impossibly long hallway towards my goal, jumping every now and then whenever another thunderclap sounded. Kisaragi Academy was comprised of both a middle school and a high school. Oh, was comprised. Damn it, comprised of both a middle school and a high school. And this evening, it really felt like it was flaunting its massive size. Didn't help that the classroom was in the high school wing, which happened to be past the middle school, making it seem that much farther away. When a building that's usually so full of life goes completely quiet, it becomes such a lonely place. I swear, I can hear every drop of rain. I was focused on... Hello. My throat really hurts from all this voice acting. Oopsie, did I interrupt? You did, but it's fine. Hi Scorpion, hi Ava, hi Ox. Hope you guys are doing well. Oh, this is very much a lot of dialogue. I've been here for an hour and I still haven't gotten to gameplay yet. And my throat's already hurting. But I digress. Hope everyone's doing well, hope you're having a good day. Let me know. I was focusing on the scant few sounds around me as I paced down that long, lonely corridor. Then, all of a sudden, I heard a faint noise, as of someone playing an organ. That was just my imagination, right? I mean, it had to be. There's no way anyone would still be here practicing, right? I took a deep breath, trying to calm my nerves. It was probably the sounds of the rain, wind and thunder mixing together. Just sounded like an organ, that's all. I was convinced. I kept walking. But then, I heard the same noise again. This time much more clearly. It was unmistakable. No, no way. I was paralyzed with fear. My heart was pounding as if it was struggling to break free of someone's sinister grip. Probably just some devoted member of the band, or a teacher who's working late. I'm just being stupid. Thinking about it, I vaguely recalled someone mentioning an upcoming performance by the Wind Instrument Club. I guess an organ would qualify. Somebody must have just stayed late to practice, that's all. Can't get that damned ghost story out of my head. I took another deep breath and tried, again, to calm my overly jittery nerves. Anything can be scary if you think it is. I heard that if you let your imagination run too wild, fear can even make you see things that aren't there. And my imagination was most definitely running wild. I'm almost there. I might as well sprint the rest of the way. I decided to dash towards my classroom so I could get out of this hall as quickly as possible. Finally, reaching that familiar door, I swiftly opened it and flicked on the lights. Alright, I made it. Now I just have to be absolutely certain I don't leave here without that pen case again. Thanks to all my unexpected pauses to freak out over the thunder, it took me far longer than it should have to get here. It was already well past 7. 7 o'clock, huh? It was the appointed time when the ghost of a teacher was supposed to appear. At least, according to the school legend. No one dead educators here. I let out a sigh of relief and relaxed my shoulders a little bit. The lights were on both inside the classroom and out in the hallway. Sure, it was still dead silent, but the fear I'd been feeling had completely melted away. Yeah, there's nothing to be afraid of. 7 wonders aren't real. I grabbed the pen case I'd come back for and shoved it into my pocket. Okay, mission accomplished. With my long ordeal behind me, more or less, I looked around the classroom and let out another sigh. I'd only ever known this classroom when it was bustling with activity, and thus found its eerie silence and utter stillness to be oddly fascinating. Such a strange feeling, being alone in a classroom like this. I got the idea in my head to try doing something I normally wouldn't be able to, like standing at the teacher's podium and writing on the blackboard. Chances like this don't come around too often after all. To me, the area behind that podium, from which the teachers conduct their lessons, was like a sacred space. I dreamed of standing there myself one day, and could hardly resist its pull when presented with a rare opportunity like this. Well, no one's looking. To my classmates, this would seem like such a silly, stupid dilemma, but that didn't change the way I felt at that moment. Should I or shouldn't I? You need to leave the room. Okay, I really don't have time to play around right now. I should get out of here. I decided it would be best to put my yearnings aside and leave the classroom behind. Well, that particular wonder turned out to be nothing at all, it seems. Guess it's all just superstition. I couldn't believe I'd gotten all indignant with Tsukasa over something so trivial. Thinking about it now, it seemed kind of ridiculous. Alright, time to head home. I have to get to bed early, so I'll be ready for tomorrow. With this in mind, I walked towards the classroom door and took one step out into the hall. When suddenly... What the fuck's happening? What the fuck is happening? The door slid shut on its own with incredible force, and my neck was trapped in the narrow opening that remained. I dug my nails into the door, frantically trying to open it back up. But the more I pushed on it, the more it pushed back, further constructing my neck. I was flailing my limbs, twisting and contorting my body, trying everything I could to escape. My neck was clamped tightly. I could feel the blood rushing to my head. I couldn't breathe. Opening my mouth in terror, I stuck my tongue out as if trying to swallow the air. Forcefully shaking my head left and right, I swiveled my body to face the ceiling. That's when I saw the tall, pitch-black silhouette of a person. A silent scream squirmed its way out of my throat, but the door was still pressing onto my neck. My vision whirled and I felt a sensation of falling. At the same time, a lukewarm liquid began pouring all over my face. As I was struggling to make sense of what was happening to me, the door that had been violently crushing my neck quietly slid open. The floor of the schoolhouse came down hard on my head, my vision gone white and begun blurring, but I could still see. I was rolling across the hallway, and there in the doorframe I caught sight of my own headless torso collapsing in a heap on the floor. The last thing I saw out of the corner of one of my bloodshot, unfocusing eye was a familiar figure of the old woman from this morning. What? Are you serious, bro? Are you serious? How did you get a wrong end in the backstory? What? Okay, we'll stand at the teacher's podium then. How can I pass this up? The chance to feel like a real teacher. I decided I had to try it. During the daily cleanup and such, I'd come and gone from this spot countless times, but this was the first time I'd ever had an opportunity to just stand here and preside over the classroom. So this is how it looks to a teacher, huh? Kind of awe-inspiring. Gaining a teacher's point of view in the most literal sense was starting to get me real fired up. It may seem silly now, but this was my stage. This is where all my dreams would play out. Someday. I began to imagine the future that awaited me, painstakingly detailing some new piece of knowledge for students sitting attentively at the desks, gliding chalk across the board, filling it with information to aid them in their studies. I'm so tired of my fire alarm going off, it's very annoying. Anyways, I sure hope I can make the cut one of these days. I was getting so excited that I even began to think my behaviour was a little strange. Maybe it was the juxtaposition of these joyous, freeing visions and the prickling dread I'd been feeling up until just a minute or two before. But then, in the blink of an eye, one of these two conflicting emotions completely overpowered the other. Is this a blackout? Suddenly, my surroundings were bathed in darkness. Going stiff with shock, I stumbled back a step. My back struck the blackboard with a dull thud. What awful timing. I instinctively grabbed a hold of the rail where the erasers sat. I felt chalk dust against my fingertips. My panicked heartbeat was making it difficult to breathe. Was this caused by the thunderstorm? If so, it sure picked a fine time to turn the lights out on me. And what's more, I can still hear the sound of the organ, but no. It's an electric organ. How is that even possible with no power? Is this what the old woman was trying to warn me about? It's impossible. She was no fortune teller or psychic, as far as I was aware. How could she possibly have known this would happen? Hell, even if she were a fortune teller or a psychic, predicting the future is stuff of science fiction. I shook my head. I need to calm down. Maybe it's just this wing that lost power, and the music room is still okay. That seems plausible, right? I curled my chalk-dusted fingers into a fist and silently tried to talk some sense into myself. Let's get out of here. I shouldn't have been playing teacher. I should have been in and out by now. No, you would have been decapitated if you did that. I already tried it. Cursing myself a little, I fumbled my way through the darkened classroom. I'd spent so much time in here you'd think I'd be able to find my way out, with my eyes closed, as it were. But sadly, that wasn't the case. Smashing loudly into a desk, I knocked it on its side and began tumbling after it, indistinctly grabbing at the other desks around me for support. Oh my god. Guess I'll need to put everything back. Still fumbling around blindly, I gathered up all these scattered notes, textbooks, and writing utensils. Can't tell what's what. This is so embarrassing. What the heck am I doing anyway? Wasn't I supposed to be hurrying home? Such a klutz. I let out a sigh. I seem to be doing that a lot lately. Okay, this is a textbook, and this is a notebook, right? I was trying to take inventory out of all the things I'd knocked out over the desk, then I realised why. I might as well just stand it up and stuff it all back in. I couldn't possibly organize it in absolute darkness. Better to just apologize tomorrow to whoever sits here. Not that that was a particularly pleasant prospect. Explaining what I'd done wouldn't be easy, and no matter how I sugarcoated it, it would serve as a clear indication of my clumsiness. If I didn't say anything, it's not like I'd be found out, but that'd be the same as lying as far as I'm concerned, and I couldn't do that. Okay, I think I got everything. Placed my hand against the floor and swept it around, feeling for anything I might have missed. And I found something alright. Ew, gross. What is this? It's all slimy. Oh. I clearly brushed my fingers across something, but I had no idea what. It was no notebook or writing implement though, that's for sure. Why would anybody have something like this in their desk? Maybe it had been on the floor all along. What is this stuff? I rubbed my sticky fingertips a bit deeper into the wet spot, brought my hand close up to my face to get a look at what was there. What on earth did I just touch? There was a flash of lightning almost immediately joined by a roaring thunderclap. And with it, for a split second, the pitch-black classroom was lit up bright as day. God, is that blood? I shot to my feet, utterly mortified. In that split second, I'd gotten a very good look at my fingers, and it did seem as if they were covered in blood. But it wasn't just my hand, no. If my peripheral vision were to be trusted, it looked like the entire classroom was stained a deep, dark crimson. Crap. Kinda smells like blood in here too. Without thinking, I backed away from where I'd been crouching. I tried rationalizing what I'd saw. How could a whole classroom be a bloodbath like this? Did something spill? Did someone stumble in here injured? This isn't possible. It can't be. I mean, how? My whole body was quaking. I fled from the classroom. Or rather, I tried to flee. What? Why won't it open? No, please, no. I don't remember locking it. It isn't locked. Why can't I get it open? I pulled on the door handle again and again in a frenzy. I was pulling so hard, it felt like my fingernails might tear loose. But it just wouldn't budge. So absent-mindedly grabbing at my hair with one hand, slammed my fist on a nearby desk with another. This was a nightmare. Please, what's going on? Silence saturated the inky blackness of the room. I took several deep breaths in an effort to restrain my pounding heart. Calm down. I have to calm down. Probably just panicking because the door won't open. I'm sure I just misidentified whoever that is on the floor, right? I mean, it's preposterous. There's no way something like that can be. I was certain that when I saw what it actually was come morning, it ended up being something totally random, like someone's old soda-stained gym clothes. That has to be it. Yeah. Probably just brushed against someone's paint for art class or something. My imagination was just running wild because I was panicking. The door probably just has something caught in it, that's all. I decided to check out the hypothesis by feeling my way across the door and determining if anything was jutting out from any of the cracks. I'm not sure I can do this without being able to see. I fumbled around the gaps in the door, but I just couldn't make out anything that would seem to be doing this, and the classroom's rear exit seemed a world away. Maybe there's another way out of here. No, this was the third floor. I couldn't get out of the classroom without exiting into the hallway. Let me out. I want out. Still at a loss, I noticed a sudden flash of light through the hallway window. But the glass was only translucent, so I couldn't be sure of its source. Somebody out there? Then there came the distinctive clump, clump, clump of the footsteps. Of course, it must be the custodian. I recalled the existence of a custodian who always patrolled the school grounds. I was sure he must have been taking a look around after the sudden power outage. Great, I'm saved. All at once, my fear-addled legs regained their strength. This nightmare would soon be over. Excuse me! I shouted to the custodian through the window, as loudly as I could muster. I'm trapped in here. To be sure he heard me, I shouted again. Finally, I could see the light out in the hallway again, and it seemed to be getting closer. However, something's not right about this. Perturbed? I took a step away from the window. If that's a flashlight, shouldn't it be brighter? It kind of looks like the faint, unearthly glow classically attributed to spirits, was what I was thinking. I tried to stop myself from finishing that thought, however. Dullness aside, it looked like it was wriggling around in a very unnatural and flashlight-like way. These footsteps. Clump, 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 clump. 4 clumps, then a 3 or so second interval, then another 4 clumps. They were sounding in a fixed rhythm. That's no custodian. Nobody walks like that. The fear was back, in full force. I had to find somewhere to hide. What if I'd accidentally summoned something inhuman? I mean, whatever that was. I begged for it for help. I literally invited it in. I need to hide. But where? Oh god. Supply locker? I hurriedly squeezed myself into the metal locker. It was still pitch black in the room, so I really couldn't spare the time it would take to remove its contents. Instead, I just contorted myself to fit. The locker was thick with the smells of mold and varnish. I can hold my breath for just a little while. I think I'll be safe in here. So I waited. I waited for the footsteps to pass by and fade into the distance, signaling that it was safe to emerge. Whoever it has, had better worry. I feel like I'm going to suffocate if I'm in here much longer. Still, it felt a lot safer than in the locker than it did out in the room. But the footsteps weren't receding. They were getting louder, closer, faster. Oh god, I hate this. And then they came to a sudden halt. They were close. Just outside the locker. Why do I keep picking the wrong options? I peered through the ventilation holes. Amidst the utter darkness of the classroom, there wasn't a soul to be seen. I'm okay. As long as I stay in here, I'll be fine. I'm not sure why I believed that. Maybe because I needed to. Maybe because it was so dark, or because I felt so much calmer in such a tight space, where nothing could possibly sneak up behind me. I didn't know why, and I didn't care. I just knew that as far as I was concerned, I was safe in here, so I stood, motionless and cramped, and I waited. I didn't have to wait long. What was that? It sounded like a door locking. Suddenly apprehensive, I gently nudged the supply closet door just to make sure it would still open for me when I wanted it to. Oh my god, I'm so dumb! Found you. I let out a sudden yelp at this unknown voice and tried with all my might to push open the door, blocking my escape. I'm so shit at this, bro. Is somebody still here? I'll need to be punished for that. There was a brief moment of silence following the eerie voice's unsettling proclamation. And then the metal walls around me on all 4 sides began warping inwards as if the supply locker had somehow been fed into a trash compactor. Oh my god. There was no force I could imagine that should have been able to do this, but it was happening. This already confined space was steadily closing in on me. The collapse of the locker all around me continued. Slowly and steadily, I could feel all manner of things pushing and cutting into my body. My vision went bright red. One of the blood vessels in my eyes probably burst from the pressure. I wasn't going to last much longer. The ventilation holes in the locker door were now pressed right up against my face, and through them I could just barely make out the figure of a person. It was the old woman from this morning. She was standing outside the slats, staring right into my eyes. It was the last sight I would ever see as the locker finally, inevitably, smashed into my skull. Why do I keep picking all the wrong options? This is not... I'm a better gamer than this, damn it. God damn it. Oh, I also can't friggin' breathe. My throat hurts from all this voice acting. Teacher's podium. I hurriedly hid myself behind the teacher's podium. I grabbed my knees, curled up and made myself as small as I could. What is this? What's happening? The footsteps continued to draw nearer and nearer. Little by little, the sound grew louder. Every hair on my body was standing on end. I held my breath, clasped my hands together and silently prayed. They were close now, very close. Why was this happening? I couldn't make any sense of it. I just wanted it to be over. I prayed to God that it would end. Was this what the old woman was trying to warn me about? Was all this happening because I ignored her? Because I didn't take the paper doll from her? Was it because I heard the ghost story of Yoshi and allowed it to get to me? Or did the strange events of the day have nothing to do with what was happening to me now? It's like my heart's gonna burst out of my chest. I was still holding my breath. I didn't dare let even the tiniest of sounds escape and give away my position. The consistent rhythm of the footsteps suddenly ended halfway into one of its cycles. And it had ended right in front of this very classroom. I had goosebumps up and down my arms and legs. I stopped praying and clasped my hands over my mouth. I knew I'd scream if I didn't. Could this be Yoshi? Was the school legend real? All I could do was close my eyes and keep my mouth shut and hope that whoever or whatever this was would just go away. But the footsteps didn't start again. If this was indeed Yoshi, she had stopped right in front of the classroom and was just standing there. I had no concept of time anymore. I stayed in my hiding spot for what was probably only a few minutes, but felt like at least an hour. Maybe whoever it was is long gone. I decided to carefully peek out from under the podium. I gingerly edged my head out just far enough to get a glimpse of the room when suddenly... Footsteps rang out once more. It sounded like they were headed right for me, and they might have been inside the room. Honestly, I couldn't tell. I scrambled back into my hiding spot and covered my mouth with both hands. This was too much for me. My breath was coarse and erratic. My face was a mess of tears and snot. I was inconsolable. The footsteps just wouldn't stop. What on earth were they doing? It almost seemed like they were running around in circles just to scare me. I mouthed these words over and over again, and moved my hands in my ears in a vain attempt to block out this torturous sound. And as if in a response, the sound changed. It was a loud, dull thud, followed by silence. No more footsteps. I'd heard that sound hundreds of times before. It was a classroom door sliding open. I peeked out, but the door was still tightly shut. How could that be? If the sound I heard wasn't the door, then what was it? What little safety I'd felt in here was pretty much gone, but to be fair, I wasn't absolutely certain that the spirit had seen or heard me either. The prospect of stepping out into the open wasn't a desirable one, but I had to decide if it was better to stay where I was or to make a break for it. Stay hidden. I'll keep hiding. It'll pass by for sure. It'll be okay. But it only took a moment for that decision to come back and bite me. My body was suddenly weighed down in an instant. Why do I keep getting the bad ends? Bro, what was happening? My fetally positioned form was essentially locked in place. It was like a boulder had fallen on top of me and resting on my arched back. I twisted and shuffled myself around trying to shake it off, but the more I struggled, the heavier it became. And what's more, it felt like it was slowly inching its way up towards my head, as if it were planning on dropping down in front of my face. Was this a person? It was a female voice, reverberating ominously as if bubbling up from the depths of hell. I squirmed violently in desperate to throw her off of me. Oh my god. Whoever was on my back had dug her razor-sharp fingernails right into my eyes. I collapsed on the spot. The pain was instantaneous and unbearable. I could no longer hold my position, and I could no longer focus on anything but this agony. Pain shot through my head in waves. It was indescribable, unthinkable. I couldn't take it any longer. My consciousness faded, and I was gone. I would never know exactly what had happened to me, but maybe I was better off that way. 3 fucking bad ends in a row? Are you shitting me? My throat hurts. I can't do this anymore. All 3? Take a break for it. Staying in one place for too long seemed like it would be inviting trouble, so I took a deep breath and reluctantly crawled out as quietly as I could. But almost immediately, I felt something. Something long and thin had struck me in the back of the head. Or perhaps struck isn't the right word. There was a little force behind it, but it wasn't a hard slam. More like someone trying to get my attention. Is that a wooden rod? Or... no. It's a finger? I knew I wouldn't like what I was going to see, but I had to face whatever this was, so I turned around. And there looming over me was... is somebody still here? Go home, child. A figure was peering down at me above the podium with one emaciated wishbone-like finger extended towards my face. I recognized this person easily. Instantly. No doubt about it. It was a strange old woman who'd supposedly passed away earlier. I was scared out of my mind. I tumbled the rest of the way out from under the podium and shot to my feet. A ghost. There really was a ghost in this school. My breathing was ragged and my heart was pounding so hard I thought it might explode. Plowing through all the desks in my way, I ran as fast as I could through the classroom door. But that was as far as I could go. What's wrong? There on the other side of the door, tight up against the glass, was the old woman. She was glowing bluish white, the source of the light from earlier. How in the world did she get to the door before I did? How did she get out of the room so quickly, and position herself so perfectly to block my exit? I felt like I was starting to hyperventilate and tried as best as I could to calm my breathing. My eyes darted about the room. I needed to get out of here now, to get as far away from this place as I possibly could. The front door is blocked. Maybe I can get out through the back. But if I do that, I can't leave the school without running right past her. There's no way she'd let me by, but I have to do something. I bit my lip and continued scanning the room. Something. I just had something I could use to fight back. I didn't have time to think carefully about it. I just had to grab something and hope for the best. There were 2 choices. I had to pick one on impulse before it was too late. Bag of salt. This looks like leftover salt from an old chemistry experiment. I'd heard that salt was used in purification rituals, so it seemed like a natural choice. Okay, this is coming with me. Please fucking work. I placed salt in my pocket as some sort of protective charm. I'm scared. But well, here goes nothing. When I looked over, the spirit of the old woman is holding out her hand from the other side of the doorframe. She really was trying to catch me. I wasn't just being paranoid. She was going to kill me and turn me into a ghost like her. I was convinced. This had to be Yoshi, the teacher from that urban legend. No, I won't let her get to me. Bracing myself, I darted towards the door at the back end of the classroom. There wasn't a moment to lose, and if I didn't act fast, I probably wouldn't be able to act at all.